Remember that those cameras we used to use, SAHHA 360, and like the Motorola.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Those two
Yeah,
megapixel
that's
cameras.
how yeah, that's how it looked like.
Yeah. Oh
Like,
man, and the funny thing is,
I
I was
guess
like,
I like
what's
I
that?
hate Zoom videos. 'Cause I'm saying
Yeah.
I hate Zoom videos. Like
Man.
one,
Well, yeah. If what I'm trying to do works out very well, we will no longer be needing them. So I'm praying every day. To see, get help for, we get the funding for the equipment and all of that.
right?
Yeah. So it's
So they
actually
can
what,
see the true us,
yeah,
not
so they can
just.
see the true us. Yeah. Yeah, because man, we have a lot of work to do, eh? We have a lot of work
Right?
to do. Yeah, and this thing is holding
We
us
do.
back. Yeah, but once we get the equipment, man, we are going to do amazing stuff.
True. You're gonna move. You're gonna move.
Yeah, yeah, definitely gonna move. How are you doing though?
Well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good. It's been a while.
Uh,
It's been, I don't know, a
Okay.
couple of weeks.
Yo, guys. I don't even know where to start with everything in my life. I really, yo, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like, I just like it's just work. I try and not work. It's just work. Literally.
yeah.
Like, my go. If you ever decide to buy you enough employment, I literally stood up like 20 minutes ago. I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
I can't for the day. I really can't. And I'm still on shift. Like no, I stopped at after 7. My shift ended at 8. But then I was like, you know what? Nah. I just
Yeah.
stood up. I left my desk like that. I left the both screens on. Like even you can see, even the people inside me, they can see what I tried. I really tried. Girl.
Oh man, it's oh man. But I don't know. It's the journey, I guess. It's the journey. But yeah, we'll eventually
At
get where we want to
what
go to.
cost? At what cost, girl?
Yeah, that's a very good one actually. That's
Like
a
at
very
what
good
cost,
one. Yeah,
bro?
yeah.
Because I
But
feel like a lot of us right now are just tired, not just physically. And
mm,
I feel like the physical part of it, it's not even that important because you can sleep, you can rest.
yeah,
But when you're tired emotionally and mentally, hey, it's something else.
yeah. Ah man, we'll oh, because last week was so crazy. Last week was so crazy because I basically worked from the previous Saturday until this past Sunday, um, doing a show pretty much every day. Because last week I
Oh,
was doing
because you were doing the drive as well, no?
yeah, I was doing the drive last week,
That's nice.
the entire week. Yeah, it was pretty cool
How
though.
did that go?
But the drive,
Yeah, because
yeah,
for me personally, I believe that, yeah, the drive show.
no, it was pretty cool. It was fun.
No, I'm
I mean,
saying for me personally, I believe that, it, yeah.
yeah, you believe what?
No, I believe that on radio, the breakfast show and the drive are like the biggest. So when a
Yeah.
person is like, I'm doing drive, I'm doing breakfast, personally, I'm like, that's amazing.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, I mean, the station was in a bit of a situation because we lost one of our colleagues. He was doing the breakfast.
No.
He passed away like two Fridays ago. So he
Yeah.
was yeah was one half of the breakfast team. So
Mm,
his co-host was because they've been working together for a while. So she wasn't
yeah.
handling it too well, but she was actually with the family. She spent the entire week with the family. So they asked to
Man.
move the afternoon drive to breakfast, and then they asked myself and Dodang to do
Yeah.
the drive. Yeah, but I mean, besides that, it was actually pretty cool. It was pretty fun. It is a bit of a big deal because breakfast,
It
that's when
is.
people are going to work. Most people are in their
Exactly.
cars. And also with drive, people are now going home. They're in the cars,
Going
they're in
back home.
taxis.
Yeah.
They're listening. So yeah, it is somewhat of a big deal, but I think we did okay.
And how were the nerves? Was it better because you used to do like the Saturday, the week now?
I
It's
couldn't get
better
it.
with the nerves.
What was that?
So how were the nerves? Because was it easier show? So you were able to, work your way around the drive as well. You were not really like
Oh,
nervous it would have been if it.
yeah. I mean, naturally, you would be nervous, especially on Monday. Most
Yeah.
yeah, we would be. We were both of us, Durang and myself, were nervous because we
Mm.
never actually worked on a show together before, and this is the first time.
Mm.
I don't know if she's done drive before, but for me, it was the first time
Yeah.
doing the drive. So there was that, but we actually have worked well together. I think worked
Yeah.
well.
That's
Yeah, worked well
amazing.
enough together that the nerves went out the window. I think by Tuesday. Yeah, I mean by Monday already. After we actually went on air, were comfortable with each other.
Yeah.
Worked well with each other, and then the entire week was just it's just a drive.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it
You
was
were like,
pretty
let's
cool.
rock. The entire you guys had it under
Yeah,
control.
yeah. I mean, there's no other choice, and that's the beauty of radio. You know, that's the beauty of radio. There's no edits. There's nothing. Everything
Yeah.
it happens in real
Yeah.
time. So once we switch on that mic, we have to go. There's nothing. There's no two
That's the
takes.
thing.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, and that's also what makes it so
I
exciting
think
as
for
well.
me, that's why I admire. True, true. And for me, that's why I admire like radio hosts so much because there's that's 3 hours of just talking. Yes, there are ads. Yes, there's music. Yes, there's
Yeah.
traffic. There's the news. But also, you're literally in charge of the entire show for 3 hours. And
Yeah.
as much as I'm talkative, I I don't. I can't see myself. Like, no, because I feel like that days where I'll be like, yeah, I can't do this. Not today.
Yeah.
So like I won't. Like, I really admire the host for that. I'm like, it's a lot of work for you to
Yeah.
have content. Yes, there are content producers to get content from the team, you understand? But also now you are the front. I'll quit the front because other radio stations have cameras as well.
Yeah.
So you get the content, but now you're the one who has to present it. So it's like the entire pressure is on you and it's a lot. So like I really that's what I'm saying. I'm proud of you, honestly.
Yeah, and actually, it's why I also admire people like DJ Fresh, for instance. DJ Fresh, when
Yeah.
he's off air, when he's just talking, there's a lot of profanity. Like that guy, he like I think every third or fourth word is profanity. But then once it gets on
Yeah.
air, all of
Yeah.
that is non-existent. Is
Yeah.
yeah, it basically is what do you call it? His vocabulary it changes. Like he's got a vocabulary
Changes
when he's having
entirely.
when he's having a conversation off air, and then he's also got
Yes.
the vocabulary when he's actually on air, which is actually quite amazing because on there when you're doing radio, there's I mean, you can have a script, right, to say this is what we're going to
Yes.
be
Yes.
talking about. This is what
What's
we're going to be
happening? Yeah.
doing, but halfway through the script basically because then you have an idea of what you're talking about. Then it's
True.
just you talking. Everything is coming directly from your head, and then for guys like DJ Fresh, there's not a single word of profanity except for the one that got him in trouble with Metro. But 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 he found a way of actually using
Yeah.
it. Found a way of actually using it. But
Yeah.
it's just that it's just you, man, and it's all fun.
As when you think
It's
about it,
amazing.
now, like think one thing about you don't curse at all, right?
Yeah,
And also, I feel like I don't curse because, guys, the F word and the other one, those are not curse words, guys. It's English. I don't care who says what. It's English, right? Because those are the only 2 words I feel like I can literally use, and it's normal. Because everybody else is like, no, continue speaking. But also, even with that, when you're working, I don't know anyone who uses that. So I feel like it happens, and like in your head, but okay, I'm in a different space right now.
yeah,
Within work, I need to switch. Because I speak to clients the entire day, and I've never cursed in 5 years of me working, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like you work your brain and know where you are at that moment. When you're outside of that setting, then you relax, you do whatever.
Yeah, and it actually happens for quite a lot of people, and especially in a lot of professions. When I mean, even with lawyers and doctors, when you talk to them on a personal level, they use profanity a lot of the time. But when they actually have to work, it's non-existent. They're just not able to get to that point, or they do not. They always have a word to use in place of place of profanity. So it's actually quite interesting. And I wish we could actually,
it's really interesting.
I wish we could actually get someone that we can talk to regarding that, regarding the use of language.
And what do you call them, Velo? Because I know they are
I have no
language
idea.
practitioners, but they always such things. Because that's one thing about careers, they're for everything. So there's there's definitely someone.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's not like a professional person, if they know how all of that works, hopefully we'll be able to find some. Yeah, hopefully
we'll be really amazing.
So we have to start looking now, and if any of our viewers actually know someone or know how we can actually get there, so that would
even
actually help
artists
us.
who know, because one thing about artists is, well, there are a lot of artists who use profanity in their music, right? But on TV, on radio, yes, there are some who forget, but there are others who, the minute they step on TV, in front of the screen or behind mic on radio, they literally can't even express themselves the way they do in their music. It's like two different people. There's an alter ego because they're down to earth, they don't curse, they're not loud, so there's a lot that goes into it, honestly.
Yeah, and it's actually I like that now that you've actually brought an artist into this, because I don't know if you've seen the documentary. It's a 4-part series. Jimmy Iovine and Dr. Dre. It's called The Defiant Ones.
No, I haven't. Seen it.
Yeah, you should check it out. It's on Netflix. So it's a 4-part series about Jimmy Iovine and Dr. Dre, how they came up, how they started in music, and then how they eventually came together to start working together. So both of them are pretty much telling their stories, and there are people in their lives who are telling their stories about them individually, about how things were at the time. And one of the guys actually was part of NWA. It's called the DOC. They also call him Dog. I actually realized when I was watching the Defiant Ones that he also never cursed in his own music. He wrote for Eazy-E. He wrote for the NWA. Yeah, wrote for Eazy-E and Dr. Dre. And there was profanity, there were curse words. And when he speaks, he does use profanity. But in his own music, he never used profanity. Yeah, he chose not to. So it's also another thing.
That skill. There is some serious skill because when he's writing his music, it's about himself, right? So he knows the kind of person that he is.
Yeah.
But now let's say I'm writing music for MT, for example. I know the person that he is. So now I have to tap into MT to give him that kind of music. So it's a skill that honestly is underrated.
It is, and I think
you're writing for a lot of people as well.
Yeah, because it's when you write for someone, you actually have to you have to understand how their delivery is. You have to you have to tap into that emotion that they should be feeling, and almost how they would express it themselves. Whenever you write for them, when you know what I'm writing for this person, so it's a very important skill, and it's a very it's very critical, and you have to be really, really good at it to be able to do that. Because you think about Ice Cube, I mean Ice Cube and the DOC, both of them, even though they grew up in in Compton and all of that. They never wanted
Yeah.
to have anything have anything to do with drugs. They never wanted to have anything to do with
Yeah.
guns, with violence, and whatever. But they understood Compton. They understood people, someone like Eazy-E.
Exactly.
Eazy-E was the one who was selling drugs before
Yeah.
NWA. He was the one who was not afraid to shoot a gun and to speak of violence. And they were
Yeah.
able to actually understand who Eazy-E is, and they put that down in their
The
lyrics.
music.
So
Yeah.
it's very interesting. It's very, very interesting.
It is. You see why I always say I don't necessarily respect the music that a person makes. And hear
Yeah,
me out. I always say I respect the artist behind it. Because
yeah,
artistry for me is the biggest thing ever. There's a lot that goes in. Because as like as the bystanders or the supporters, we all get to see the end product.
yeah,
You hear the lyrics, the beat, everything. It's already complete. But then what went into all of that before it even got to the rapper or the singer, the creativity behind everything. For me, it's just what I say. I believe in artistry as a whole, not necessarily just the artist.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
it's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah, and that's also why we actually have this podcast where we want to be able to
Yes,
have this platform for everyone who is involved in the creation of music.
exactly.
We never really talk about writers. I mean, you
No.
can get like you can go to the credits of a song. You can see especially when you talk about like a Beyonce song, for instance. You find that there's
Yes,
8 people who actually wrote the entire
wrote
song.
the song.
Yeah, eight
Yeah,
people came together. They pieced together some lyrics to write like a 3 minute
hmm
song and whatever. Those 8 people are never really talked about. We have
no.
session artists
They
who
never,
come in.
they never known.
Yeah, they never know. And for them, it also works for them, at least for most
Yeah,
of them, because the reason why they write is because they do not want to be at the forefront.
yeah,
They want to share their message, whatever it is that they have, want to share it in the world, but they do not want to share it themselves. They want to
yeah.
use someone else to do that. So that also works for them. But I'd actually love to talk to writers as well. Find a
Right.
writer
Yeah.
that a very good writer, and talk about them, and also talk about guys like Bogabi Leroux, a white guy
Mm-hmm.
who produced for guys like Womandos. I would never imagine that
Mm-hmm.
someone that a white man, classically trained,
The right man.
even
Yeah,
yeah, a classically trained white man, doing Kwaito music, producing Kwaito music, and that's also
exactly.
amazing, man. So all those people, like session artists, someone comes in, they play like drums, or they play the guitar or whatever, and they go home. Never really talked about. It's always either the artist
Never.
and the main producer. But everybody else, even the engineers, the
An
people
engineer.
who master songs, people
Yes,
who decide what's actually the treble on this one is a bit
the
too high, is a
keys,
bit too low.
everything.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
it's not right. Let's change it up here and there, so that they actually change the sonics of a song. Uh, they never really talked about. You never really get to see that. You never get to hear from them. So I mean, the oracles, we're all about that, and we will find those people and we'll bring them on
definitely.
here.
And I like it when like the main artist is the one who shouts them out at the end of a performance,
Yeah, yeah,
or at the end of a song, like literally, and call them by name, not just saying the crew or the band behind me. Because
yeah,
there are people who are they finished performing. I know Java used to do this. Krista used to do it as well. They
yeah,
will literally call them by name. Smangman on the drums, Smangman on the piano or whatnot, because they are as equally important. And
yeah. They
because the
are.
song coming together, it's everyone who played a role. The
Yeah, they are.
writer, the producer. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's true, and also because I think the first time I actually heard or took notice of an artist naming pretty much everyone that was in the band was with Ray Piri. But I forgot
Oh,
which song they were doing, Steamer, and it was talking about everyone, even the backup singers. And one of them was actually his mother-in-law, but she was younger than him. And he was just naming everyone.
The one thing about that, I have a check.
I mean, not mother-in-law, like a stepmother. Sorry.
Stepmother, yeah.
She was a stepmother, and she was younger than him. But Ray Peter was naming pretty much everyone that was on stage, doing who made the music the way that it was. Because I can't remember if he also mentions the engineers or whatever.
Yeah.
But I remember that he mentions everyone in the band. Uh, I mean, because whenever you think of Steeman,
Yeah.
you always think of Ray Peat because he is the lead singer.
Definitely.
And also when you think about any other band, and it's true for every other band, you listen to when you think U2, you are thinking of Bono. When you think of Queen, you're thinking of Freddie Mercury.
Exactly.
It's always that. Even with Elo, Pongo Muffin, the first person that you think of is Tani Samazwai.
Yes.
You forget Lusinabo. What's the guy with the dreadlocks?
Song right.
Yeah, and there was also Stone, and there was also
Stone.
there was also Speedy there as well. But the first person that you really think of is Tanisa Mazwai because she was basically the lead in the
Sure.
group. Yeah, so it's something that I think needs really to be looked at, and something that
Yeah.
really needs to be at least talk to those people, I believe.
Yeah. And it's not only on like the performance on stage or after like at the end of the song, but also on credits, guys. Because I don't know, but I've loved this thing of when I'm on Spotify and I'm listening to a song, right? Like
Yeah,
I don't just want to listen to the lyrics. One thing about me, I listen to the keys. That's how I fell in love with Java's Ikandlela. Because one time he played the hell out of that instrument. I was like, there's no way this is fake, you know? So
yeah,
I will go to the credits and you get to like the producers or engineers or co-writers and you just get dashed they or like there's no name. But then the performing artist is there. But then guys, he didn't make the song alone,
yeah.
especially if you know what you know, man. And this person produces what the person also for, and we saw all of that happen. But now, why isn't it listed here? You know,
Yeah,
like it goes far beyond the performance. It goes far beyond mentioning on a song. But have the credits there on Spotify. Let the people see. Because now I'll go on credits and I just see dashes and I'm like, okay,
yeah, and that's
who's responsible
actually
for that now?
yeah, and that's actually a serious issue that some a lot of producers have with artists, particularly up and coming artists. And I see this on Twitter a lot, where you would see because producers are crying about the fact that an artist will come to them and
Mm,
ask for a beat. If they pay for it, they say, Gucci, the producer will not be will
will
they
not
will
be
not be
there.
put on the they will not be on the credit.
Oh well,
But if they want to be on the credits, then they should give the beat for free, which also doesn't make sense.
it doesn't make
Uh,
sense. Like
yeah,
it's like me coming to you as the artist and be like, I'm giving you a beat, give me music. But then people are gonna hear you on my song, so I should still credit you. You know, credit me. This is my
yeah.
work. This is my bread and butter.
And besides that, there's also going to be royalties that are going to come from this thing. And now
Exactly, exactly.
you're denying that person those royalties. So
And
it's
I
just
think that's
crazy.
the main reason. I think that's the main reason they don't want to do it because they know, guys, songs right now they have a potential of just blowing up, like only so, right? And what it does, people are getting money. They get it from that. The songs are being used as what you call soundtracks for movies, for
Yeah.
ads on talk. So they know if they create a certain somebody, they're gonna have to pay them. And some people don't wanna pay, unfortunately.
Yeah, and in the previous episode when I was talking to Sydney, we were talking
Yeah,
about the BMW advert. I don't know if you remember it when they were advertising the 330 IS. They were using Questa's beat for Spirit.
yeah,
I
I
mean,
remember.
I mean, the vocals were not there. It was just the beat. And I was
Just a
curious.
bit, yes.
Questa was actually upset about that because according to him,
Hey.
they hadn't asked for permission to use the beat. And my question to Sydney was that who actually should be paid or should be asked for permission in that instance?
Is it
Because Questa
Krista
did
or is
not
it?
make the beat. Yeah, is
Yeah.
it Questa or is it the producer? Or I mean, because I mean, at the end of the day, what Sydney pretty much said is that it also depends on who actually owns the song. There was another thing also
Yeah.
because I also asked about the royalties involved in that. In saying because the beat itself was a sample from Spirit Chasers. But should
Yeah.
Spirit Chasers
Right.
also be able to get
Yeah.
royalties
Get
from that?
something.
Yeah, from the advert, or should they be paid from that? And I mean, he's a okay. He's a qualified. Uh, he just got his degree, yeah, because he hasn't done his articles as yet. But yeah, the answer was along those lines of someone who actually basically a
Yeah.
lawyer in a sense, which it all depends on who actually owns the royalties to that. But
Now that you mention it, actually, it makes me think a lot because there are a lot of songs that we've heard on ads that
yeah,
now, Connor, I think AKA also has one. I could be wrong, but I think HG at some point was an ad as well, the beat.
yeah,
But also, he also sampled Ichiga. So now it makes us think, hooray, now who's entitled to this, you know?
yeah.
If they share it first with the samples, because I just don't even clear the samples, and unfortunately, they don't even clear them, you know?
Yeah,
I don't know what's in it, but they don't.
and it's actually quite a dangerous thing not to clear samples.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very.
because I saw I think from DJ Smooth's podcast. He was saying, would see he actually to this day he's never seen a single cent from Remember When It Rained because he was trying to get the clearance from Josh Groban, and for
Yeah.
some reason because he did that song and he was trying to get the clearance from Josh Groban. He wasn't getting
Yeah.
any response from his team, from him or his team, and the deadline for the album was coming up. The album is coming out. I mean, it's remember when it rained was the main single from the
Right.
album, and that song had to be released and everything. And at some point, because I think it was initially when he made it, if I understood him correctly, is that he actually used Josh Groban's voice. He actually took the actual song and then he remixed it to make it into a house song.
Yeah.
And then eventually he changed that, got an artist, got a singer rather, a session artist to come in and actually do the vocals, and from there also start again the process of getting clearance for the sample. It didn't come through. The album came out, the song came out, and then now Josh Groban is coming. He came and said he never got permission to do this, so I'm taking all of the royalties from the song. To this day, he's still,
Like,
according to him.
My goodness. Thing is, I'm a old music kid. Like, I love that song. And like, this song is amazing.
Yeah.
But now also, I understand he was wrong at clearing it. But him saying how big the song was, I feel like he could have been like, next time I'll give you 20%, bro.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna give you 50. I'll just give you 20. Give him something.
Yeah, I mean, give him something. But I think because I think it also depends. It also comes down to Josh Groban's character. I believe when you have the song.
That's what I'm looking at right now. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Now it boils down to what kind of person are you now at the end of the day?
Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, for any other person, Josh Groban is actually not very big in the market. It's not big with black people. So now, if you have someone who is, because I mean, DJ Smooth was pretty big. At the time, he was at YFM. He was, I think, TS Records was already established. There was Mzega Zega, that whole thing. Mzega Zega. He was arguably, he was one of the biggest. Yeah, he was one of the biggest DJs or whatever. And let's say celebrity. He was one of the biggest celebrities in the country. And then now you have someone like that in South Africa who's taking your song, turning it into a house song, and then he's asking for permission to to put it on the market. I mean, for a lot of artists, it would be a matter of, okay, I mean, it sounds good, and let's see what the response is from that. And the response is the way that it came out. Yeah.
You see what you just touched on? I think that's the reason they never responded to him, because there's this thing about people underrating a person because they don't have the numbers or because they're not known.
Yeah.
Not understanding the potential that might come with you clearing this thing, or not understanding the potential that might come with you. Because like a lot of people, it's like, you see how we always think about how fickle industry friendships are.
Yeah.
For me, it's also that thing. You can only base the friendship on how big you are or how known or important you are. It's like even with the clearance, same thing. Because I could come right now as a music producer and I'm trying to make the song, but because you are a big person in the country or in your community or whatever, you're not going to entertain you know me and no one else knows me. But this one single is the one that might put me on 5 years down the line. Now you're coming to it, you know?
Yeah.
Because I feel like people are they think for the now, they forget, but there's a lot that could happen in the future.
I mean, life is, I mean, as much as we often like to say life is short, but life is also long, because you never know what's going to happen next week. You never know how someone's future is going to be shaped between now and next month. And, you know, by the time that if someone today is a nobody and they're trying to get something done with you, they're trying to work with you, and you turn them down simply because they're a nobody. And then, and then next year, they're the biggest thing on the market. If you now try to go back to them and try to work with them, everything has changed. Now the conditions would be different from what it would have been previously, because last time the first time I came to you when we were trying to work and you turned me down, I was willing to do that for free. I was willing even to maybe cut down on a lot of things just to do something with you. Yeah. But now, because you've come to me, the conditions are completely different now. They're completely different.
Exactly. And my thing is, we're not saying work with everyone that comes your way, right?
Yeah.
But at times also it's a thing of you're very good, I like your work, but then I don't have the capacity, which is fair.
Yeah.
Like it's really fair, it's valid, right? And another valid reason is fair. It's just not my vibe. I just don't enjoy your kind of music or whatever. We won't gel. That's also fair. But for you to not work with someone because of they only have 500 followers on Twitter, guys, how old are you? It doesn't make sense in my head. Like it really doesn't. Because make it make sense.
Yeah, you know, because the thing is, and when I was watching the documentary, the Defiant Ones, I was reminded of the fact, and this is something that I often think about. Just because someone is not big or is not well known does not mean they're not talented or they do not have the voice or anything like that. And the reason why I was reminded of that is because they showed a clip of what did it, because now the name was actually in my head the entire time. And then now it's gone. They showed a clip of No Doubt, which was the lead singer on No Doubt, and it's at the top of my at the tip of my tongue. Wait, let me just find it. Sorry. Gwen Stefani, yes. They showed a clip of Gwen Stefani singing, and she was pretty much. I mean, okay, it was No Doubt the entire group. They were auditioning in front of Jimmy Iovine and a few other execs. And the way that Gwen Stefani was singing, at the time, she wasn't really seeing herself as a singer of some sort. Gwen, she liked singing, but it wasn't like a huge thing. This is actually what I want to do. Yeah, it's what I want to do for the rest of my life. Or I want to be she just wanted to be a star. And at the same time, she also wanted to be a fashion designer. And when she was talking with Jimmy Iovine, and Jimmy telling him that she'll be a star in 6 years, she'll be very, very big in 6 years. She was like, dude, in 6 years, I'm going to have like 10 kids and whatever. Look, you know, like music wasn't really a long-term thing. Now, and hearing Gwen Stefani sing at the time, it was almost like she was seasoned. She was the huge Gwen Stefani that we know today. And at the time, no one knew her. Literally, nobody knew her at the time. Yeah, and that's the thing with everyone. Just because you're not big does not mean that the talent is not there. Does not mean that the ability is not there. Yeah.
But as another thing, I feel like we always have these opinions because we don't necessarily work so close to artists.
Yeah.
And because it could be that. It could be speaking from the outside, you know?
Yeah.
You don't know what makes them take those decisions and move the way they move.
Yeah, but it also goes back to what remember what Touchline was saying. He does not just work with anyone just because you've got a big name or whatever. It's the energies that need to connect. Yeah, we need to be able to on the same wavelength, basically, before we can actually work together. And that's the thing with most artists. Also, because that thing. I mean, we're not. And now, for me, saying that it's not disputing the fact that what you've just said actually exists, where people refuse to work with people just because they're not well known. But also, there's a thing, obviously, there's people that don't want to work with people because they're not at the same wavelength. The energies are just not coming together.
No, but that for me is important because we can pick it up as supporters when you guys are forcing things.
Yeah.
Like you can feel it. You can like, nah. And like synergy is just not there. You can feel it also, it's not there. And when there are artists who work together and they make good music, you can also tell, you know?
Yeah.
So energy is a real thing.
Yeah, it is. It is. You know, actually, still talking about energies and working together. I saw last week, was it last week? Let me just check the date. Oh, it was 3 days ago, actually, which must have been like Sunday or Monday. Because we've got the South African Hip Hop Awards coming up very soon. I think it might be next week or the week after that.
And wait, what do you mean next week or the week after that? Already?
Yeah, already.
Like, which rock have I been under?
Already, we're there already.
I've been under a rock, clearly.
Let me just try to find the actual date here. And it actually made me think because now I'm looking at some of the, radio shows are also nominated. And if I was still if we were still doing Hip Hop 101, I think I probably would have submitted the show.
Yeah.
Before that.
Because it's been like it was going on for a while.
Yeah, it's been going on for a while. I'm trying to find the actual date for the South African Hip Hop Awards. It's on the 14th. No, not the 14th. 14th is past.
It's usually on the last week of November or the first week of December.
Yeah.
No, isn't it around the 10th?
Because
they're usually in December when people are like they're home or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah, because when I saw this, it said 16 days to go, which means it should be maybe on the 3rd.
Damn.
Yeah, probably on the 3rd of December. That is happening somewhere around there. But anyway, I was talking about the thing. The South African Hip Hop Awards releasing a statement about A-Reece. A-Reece's nomination. Let me just read it out. It says the South African Hip Hop, I suppose they wanted to say South African Hip Hop Awards, would like to announce that South African rapper A-Reece was withdrawn from the 11th annual South African Hip Hop Awards and will not be participating in the ceremony this year. A-Reece has been a highlight of our last couple of shows, and he deservedly had an amazing night, winning 2 awards, namely Mixtape of the Year and Lyricist of the Year, at the 10th edition of the SA Hip Hop Awards last year. We appreciate and welcome his decision to withdraw his submission and not be a part of the show anymore. Furthermore, we'd like to wish him and his management well for the future. Thanks.
Was he nominated?
Apparently, because I don't know, because there's a lot that is being said about this thing. There's a case I would say he actually didn't submit anything, but the South African Hip Hop Awards they put him down as a nominee.
Oh,
yeah.
So they can move like that. That's not fair. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah.
One thing about me, I'm not gonna buy face. I'm not gonna buy face. I will support the movement, no? But also I'm very big on integrity. Stand by your word, because you always say submissions close on the 15th of September, for example. Right?
Yeah.
So why is it that when your faith doesn't submit, you're going to put them up there automatically? If that's the case, put everyone there automatically.
Yeah, that's the thing, because then they should be the ones deciding who should be nominated or not. Yeah, but I mean, there's a lot that is being said. We'll see. Oh yeah, sorry, I found the date actually. It is the 6th of December. Yeah. Yes, the 6th of it's happening at the 6th of December at the Lyric Theatre. But anyway, the thing is that I mean, if someone, if the whole thing is based on submissions, then they should it should stick to that.
Follow through. Follow
through. But then now apparently it's a case of him not actually submitting anything, but the South African Hip Hop Awards putting him down as a nomination, and then I don't know, Guti, if he's the one who alerted them and said, Guti, I actually didn't submit anything, and then this statement was out or whatever. It's just a bit confusing. That whole thing is just a bit confusing. I don't really know what was going on there. But also another thing.
Now it speaks a lot to brands and the way they move, because it's quite tricky. But go on.
Yeah. But another thing, is that 3 actually of the people that we've interviewed on the podcast, because we've interviewed I think 4 or 5 hip hop people on the podcast, but 3 of them have actually been nominated this year for the South African Hip Hop Awards. XXC Galaxy has been nominated for Best Female. Touchline for Soon 2 is nominated for Mixtape of the Year, as well as P.O. Not nominated for Lyricist of the Year. So it goes back to what we usually say, with the people that we talk to on the podcast are people we believe in, people who are actually talented. And XXC Legacy, in fact, is one of those people. When you really think about it, I mean, you would expect P.O and Touchline to be nominated, but XXC Legacy is someone who's still trying to make their way, trying to get in. And we've talked to her earlier this year, actually like a few weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and he's been nominated already.
That's amazing. And remember when I told you actually put me on to her, and I've been enjoying her since. And for me, that's the beauty of music and such platforms,
Yeah.
Because now not only did you put me on, now you put a lot more other people on, and the more she gets, the more people she garners and everything. So that's the thing we're trying to push. Like I feel like that's our agenda at this moment.
It is, because we're not really interested in how big a name is, but we are more interested in the talent. But also because it's actually more of a balance. But at the end of the day, we are more interested. We're interested more in the talent. And the thing is, we can talk to someone like XXC Legacy in the same way that we would love to talk to someone like Amu. And the reason why we'd love to talk to someone like Amu is because he's an architect of South African hip hop, and he has a lot of stories to tell. He's worked with pretty much everyone that we idolize. Yeah, everyone that we idolize in South African hip hop, that we grew up idolizing South African hip hop. When you think about it, go back to the days of Squatter Camp. He has worked on Flabber's album, He has worked on arguably Pro's best album, Heads and Tails.
Yes.
He has worked on Mr. Salvin's album. It's someone who will be able to take us deep into the deep beyond the mainstream stuff. Also tell us about how it was like at the time in varsity for people like in Bram, for instance, what it was like during those times in Newtown with Baseline still operating, how it was in those times, and also taking us through his journey. And it's something even people like Osmic, an architect also, like these are wise people that would love to talk to, besides people that are still trying to get their foot into the game.
It's the balance that you're speaking about, because at the end of the day, it is like a music podcast, and you're focusing on the music business and everything around it, So it makes sense to look at it 10 years ago and to look in the present and what it will possibly look like 10 years from now.
Because we want people to actually go back when eventually one day they Google XXC Legacy, and then the oracles come up and they see it pops up. They see XXC Legacy way back before. I mean, just after being on stage with Keith Murray at Back to the City. And be able to, things like that. But also when one day we'll actually be able to have like full length interviews with these people. And hopefully that will be very soon, where it's not just like because this at the moment, these are basically snippets of when we're talking to these people. These are actually just short things, snippets of time with them. But imagine what we can actually come up with if we're sitting with them in person. And time is not a factor. We have maybe like an hour or two of footage that we can use. Just a lot is going to come up.
Yeah, and I feel like it's when you have true intentions about something, everything just comes together.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the direction we're just working towards. Everything we're doing for the culture, for the love of music, for the business of music, for the artistry behind everything. So even things that you didn't think would come together, they actually are coming together.
Yeah, very true. Very, very true. And now moving on from that, Z, I don't know actually if you have anything else to share towards that.
One thing, I don't have anything to share that is current, because one thing about your girl, I don't know what's going on with me. If you were to see my playlist right now, you'd be embarrassed, because you guys, when I was telling you earlier, I was listening to DJ Spoo. I was going through my playlist earlier. I'm like, Zandile, what's going on? Like and it's not just the house, it's every genre. Like I went back like 15 years, not even 10, 15 years. I'm like, what? Or it's like 12 or something. No, was it 12? I don't know. The math is failing me. Either way, I'm like, why am I listening to all music like this? I don't know. I feel like I relate so much to all music, and I low-key miss that. Like, I feel like I haven't been getting much of that recently. Maybe that's why I've reverted to all of that. It's like old school music, being in my zone and all of that. Because I feel like right now, and it's not just necessarily hip hop. It's like generally all the music genres. I feel like there's a disconnect, and it's probably more on my side, because maybe I don't have time to actually sit down, and because I work well with music, right? And I don't necessarily want to listen to a new album when I'm working. Because I'm not gonna hear anything. I'm focusing on my work. I'm just hearing the beat, But if I'm listening to something that I know from a long time ago, I'm rapping along, I'm singing along. That's where I'm focused. I feel like it's probably a disconnect more on my end, because I haven't had the time to listen to the new music to focus. Because when I was at last week Friday, I think, Gabba Canal released an EP. I'm a big Gabba Canal fan. I haven't listened to it. I see that Ginger is dropping this Friday. I need to find it within me to listen to Ginger, because one thing about me, I believe in Ginger with every fiber in my being, So it means I listen to him at midnight. before I start working the next morning, I need to do that because I feel like I'm so out of tune and it's driving me insane. Low key, it's driving me insane.
And
No good.
I actually love the fact that you've moved on to music yourself, because that's actually where I was going next, and I love that for us. I love that we are in tune like that.
Yes,
Because I wanted to ask you actually, Wuzi, what you're listening to at the moment. And
yeah.
the thing is, well, the reason why I will ask that is because Nas released King's Disease 3 last week.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think on
Yeah, I
Friday.
saw
No, it wasn't Friday. It was the Friday before last week.
the
And
other Friday. Yeah, I
yeah,
saw.
the other Friday. I don't know if you actually heard it yet.
Nope, but I saw like a few reviews on Instagram. You know, I'm not big on reviews. You know, when you're
Yeah,
scrolling through a story, and the two people I saw posted about it, they actually enjoyed it quite a lot, but I haven't listened to it.
yeah. It's a 17 track album, and I have no
Excuse me,
idea. It's 17 tracks, but
guys.
but the thing is about this
Yeah.
album is that I don't know how many times I've played it already, because it will start. I mean, first first track of the first track on the album is Ghetto Report. It starts and then it just flow through.
Mm.
Before I know it, you've reached track 17, and then it's back to Ghetto Report, and just like that. Because I think at one point I probably listened to it like 3 times over, just back to back, like from start to finish.
Then it's definitely good. Then it's
Yeah,
definitely good because
it's
you're not gonna get to the second listen or the third. You can get to the second because it's just trying to gauge where they were at
yeah,
and you're trying to understand it. But the third listen, you were not gonna get there if it wasn't good.
yeah, it's very, very good. I'm really, really loving the album. Like it's just, I mean, and to think, Guti, Nas has been doing this for how long? Almost since 91, I think. That's 31 years now. Yeah, 31 years. Uh, and you know,
Wow.
still today, he's got, and his sounding, it doesn't sound like his peers. Let me just say that. It
Nah.
does not sound like his peers, because this guy, he sounds like he's still at his peak, when it comes to
Correct.
making music. It sounds it well, because when you listen to the lyrical content, there's a lot of wisdom in there. The wisdom of an
Yeah.
older person, someone who's been doing
Yeah.
music for a while. The skill still, it's like top tier, top tier. Like his
Yeah.
delivery, his writing, everything. But the sound, it is the sound. It's very uh, it's very modern. Let me just say that
Yeah.
it's very modern, but without the element of what everybody else is doing. Because like
Besides
there's
the
no trap,
trap.
yeah, there's no drill,
Yeah.
there's none of that. This is just Hit
It's
Boy.
still the
This
Nas that we know.
Yeah, it is Nas still staying true to himself with the sound that he
Mm.
wants. Very specific with it. This is what he wants, and it's timeless. Let me just say that, because when you actually go back to all, because this guy, and it's crazy how he's been working. Because in the past 2 years, he's released 4 albums.
Yeah.
King's Disease one, actually King's Disease, then King's Disease two, then Magic, and now it's
Mhm.
King's Disease 3. And it's crazy. This guy is like in his late 40s now.
Like, how much
And
musical content do you have? No, there's no way. Like,
and that's the thing. That's the thing. And another thing also, in the Defiant Ones, at some points, Dr. Dre says that making music is a young man's game. And then they cut over to Kendrick Lamar, who says that every time he
mhm,
hears that, he just feels like he wants to write. And Kendrick is also now in his I think late 30s.
late
He
30s,
says,
yeah.
yeah, he says he just wants to write. And then here's Nas, what's King's Disease 3, in his late 40s, still doing it like he's in his 20s, which is amazing. It's just
It
crazy.
is.
It's just crazy.
And I think he speaks to some of us who have entitlement issues because I'm entitled to like certain artists that I love because it's like, why are you switching up your sound? That's
Yeah,
not who we fell in love with. So I feel like what he's doing is it's true to what we some of us want. Because as I said, I'm very entitled. So for that, it's like I will continue listening to you.
Yeah, and also if you think like how crazy good this album is, he actually has no features. It is just him. All 17 songs. It is just him.
Who said the first album to go platinum without a feature? There's somebody who said that in a song, in a lyric somewhere.
I think it.
Someone.
Yeah, someone. I think goes by the name J. Cole.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely J. Cole. Honestly, you see, for me, I really appreciate those kind of albums because yes, I like to hear different people, right? But for you to go plus 12 songs and it's just you, the songs are 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and some rappers will even give you 8 minute song, you know?
Yeah.
So for you to be able to give us that in a body of work alone, it's impressive.
And it's also impressive with the fact that it all sounds different. Every song sounds different. 17 songs, 17 different. I mean, okay, it's because it's Hit Boy, right? It does sound good. It's hip hop. You can tell what's it. Actually, you can't tell even. It's only just one producer who's been
nice.
who's worked on this album because it's. I mean, Nas has only been working with Hit Boy. I don't know if he co-produced with anybody else, but pretty much but pretty much every song on here is done by Hit Boy. And my favorite song actually on the album is the 14th track, titled "First Time." That one I love, and and I hate the fact that people keep going back to when they refer to King's Disease 3, they go to those two lines or whatever. I think it's two lines where he references Jay-Z, where he says something about like he's in his Range Rover, contemplating. Can't remember the line exactly, or contemplating like the lines from Takeover or whatever, and then he talks about texting Jay-Z and telling him this ain't over. But yeah, a lot of people
will do that. People will do that because they just want to talk,
Yeah,
they get something to talk about, they'll do it.
Yeah, and that time this is like a 17-track album, and every song is terrific. Every song is terrific.
How is Once a Man Twice a Child?
Once a Man Twice a Child is also very good. Because on there, as far as I understand it, I mean, he's talking about growing, right? He's talking about growing up, but some of the lessons is learned over the years. But it's very, very good as well. So it's actually one of my favorite tracks. Now that you mentioned, one of my favorite tracks on the album. Yeah.
Yeah. Out of 5 stars, where would you rate it? The entire album?
I mean, I'm a huge Nas fan. But I think I would say, because I'm afraid to give it a 10 out of 10 for some reason. But it's very close there, somewhere. I think maybe a 9.
Maybe a 9. Okay, I'm asking because now you're not being biased. You're not being a Zandi, right?
Yeah.
You're not being biased. You are just enjoying the music.
Yeah.
No, but guys, I feel like guys, one thing about me, I don't care how much I love you. If I feel like you gave us like a song that's not you, or it's not like what happened. Now I will ask, given the chance, whether I meet you somewhere or via social media, given the chance, I will ask, and I'm like, nah,
what happened?
Yeah, I understand. And I feel like that's where you must appreciate your fans because they're not telling you a lie. They're not pretending like you gave them something amazing. It's like how how Drake has fans, right? And there are people who are just Drake supporters. Drake fans, they'll never speak the truth. To them, every album is a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
But guys, I've loved Drake since I was still in high school. And if I feel like he dropped the ball, yes, you might not hear my opinion or read about it, but to whoever cares to listen, I will say I didn't enjoy it. I'm not going to pretend, I feel like for me, that's how it is. Even when I rate an album for my favorite artist, if I feel like it was a 5 out of 10, it's a 5, unfortunately. Yes, it's given us better, but then this one was a 5.
Yeah, and now you're talking about the latest album with 21 Savage. I don't know if you've listened to that one, is it?
I listened to one song out 7 at the time, but apparently that one is nice. I've seen a few. Because also people enjoy the whole vibe they have. Those two. Apparently
Yeah,
they gel very good together. So I feel like people are enjoying more of that than the music. But I'm still to listen to the album.
yeah,
I have to
no,
give myself time, guys.
yeah, because I haven't listened to like the whole thing. I mean, I downloaded the album and I tried to listen to it, but I just couldn't listen to like the entire thing. Um, and I don't know if it's because I'm not entirely a because 21 Savage is pretty good. He is
Mm.
good where especially I think mainly when he's featured, and that's when I actually listen to him the most when he's featured.
Yeah.
But this album for me is really not me. It's uh, not something that I would think I would
Don't
listen to.
resonate.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because I mean, even I'm not really that much of a Drake fan, but I did try to actually um, give it a listen. But it's really isn't me. I think it reminded me of why I'm not really such a uh, the biggest of fans of both of them.
Yeah. Fair and valid. Because honestly, I also feel like for me in the past years, when you high key cemented yourself in the industry
Yeah,
and you can just get away with anything. I feel like that's what Drake is at. Like I know I'm good. I've done it before. So
yeah,
and that thing has placed me on a certain pedestal, and I can just not necessarily get away with giving them like garbage, but I can give them bare minimum and they'll ride with it.
yeah,
And for me, I
yeah.
feel like that's the biggest gripe I have with artists most of the time. They get too comfortable because number one, they don't need the money anymore because the money they have can sustain them.
Yeah.
But now it's just a hobby. I'm just pushing time. They're no longer hungry for it. And I've seen it happen even locally.
And
Like
that's
what
the thing.
happened? What went wrong?
That's the thing. Guti, why do you make music in the first place? Because
Exactly.
you could be the richest person in the world, but if you really love the music and you cared about it, you cared about the music that you make, you would never slack and would never release anything that is you believe is less than
Exactly.
perfect. And it's also man, because now I feel like I'm actually like marketing the defiant ones here. It's one of the things actually yeah, that Dr. Dre is actually going through
Yeah.
at the moment with actually he's been going through it for quite some time when he about the chronic no is it the chronic yeah the chronic no it's not the chronic which was the name of the album that he still not able to that we're still waiting for uh
The one that's always trending. Now that you want to forgot about it.
yeah I mean whatever
Uh,
that that album right um the thing is for him where is still waiting to actually make everything perfect. And it's been like, I don't know how many years now, almost 20 years,
mhm.
him saying
Yeah.
he wants to make this album perfect because almost every time that he actually finds something when he believes this is it, this is good. And then he goes to bed, he comes back the next morning, listens to it, and it's no longer as good anymore. And I don't know if it's about the fear that he had when he released or well no, I think the album it was the Chronic, the first Chronic that he
Yeah.
released. Not a great album, apparently. It wasn't very good. So I think there's the fear of that because at the time when he actually released the Chronic it was his first solo album. He just found Snoop Dogg, and he was just arrived. He's just arrived at death row, and then
Mm.
Chronic 2001 was totally different because now he had all of these people. He had his entire
Yeah.
stable, and then there's also Eminem involved, which
Mm.
made yeah, I mean all those people just made the album huge. But then with this album, is still looking for that perfect thing to
Yeah.
yeah to make it. But still
When it
still
does
hasn't got it.
drop, we hope it is perfect eventually.
Because actually, I'm afraid we'll say this. Nah, we might actually wait until he died for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
don't think
feel the same way too.
I don't think it's coming out
Yeah.
while he's still alive. I don't think
Yeah.
so.
Same. And that would suck. That would really suck.
Yeah, it would. It really would. And another thing, just maybe I don't know if this is going to be the last time I refer to the Defiant Ones, but when you watch it, watch it bearing in mind which this was actually recorded before his divorce. So it came out a bit of a
Really?
while. Yeah, it came out a bit of a while ago.
Oh, damn.
It was still. I mean, it was still okay with his wife. Everything was still.
Yeah.
Um, I don't want to say perfect, but they were still together. Basically, they're
Yeah,
still
so
together.
fine. Yeah.
There was no talk of divorce or anything. At least publicly, there was no talk of divorce. Whereas, yeah, so it came out of a better while, or at least it was made a while ago. I think,
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
ago, yeah.
yeah. So it must have been before 2020 actually, because there's nothing about COVID or anything like that.
On that. Mm. Now, I'll definitely check it out after I find time to listen to the albums. Wow.
Yeah, you should. And actually, I think maybe on the on this on the oracles, I think I'm going to because I also created a thing a playlist with some classic hip hop songs on here. There's currently like 41 songs. I think I'll share it with the podcast. So when you search for the podcast,
I hope it's not on thingy on Apple Play because
oh no, it's on YouTube Music because it's
okay.
connected. Yeah, it's connected to the channel.
Thank
So
you. Because one thing about me, I'm not an iTunes baby. I just don't know why. I just can't.
yeah.
I've
You know,
tried, guys. I get home.
yeah, I actually tried Spotify at some point. I don't know if it was my phone or whatever, but I felt like the sound quality was a bit low, was a bit too low for me. And at the time, it was like I think it was a premium subscription.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I felt like the sound quality was a bit too low for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at the moment, I'm on YouTube Music as well as Apple Music, and I'm enjoying both of them. The thing
I'll
about
try the Apple Music again. I'll give it one last try. I'm not trying YouTube Music, guys. Nothing in me says subscribe to YouTube Music. I'm sorry. No. In my head, I feel like YouTube will always be videos,
yeah,
not necessarily focused on like music without ads. Nah, it does in my head.
yeah, there's
That's the
still,
problem with
but
me. I'm
yeah,
very
but the thing is, that what I love about YouTube Music is the fact you can actually find songs that were not uploaded by the artists themselves. Because when you search, probably someone else on YouTube, they uploaded like a song
yeah.
or something. You are able to find it on YouTube Music,
But is that right
even
though?
playlists.
Is, is that right though?
Yeah, I mean, still, I mean, the artists, I think they still do get royalties from the songs. I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
Do,
don't know how it
do you
works, but
think?
yeah, I think.
I just hope they do. Apparently,
Yeah, but I mean, because I mean, if it's copyrighted, money the YouTube actually flags everything that if you put up like a song or a clip that is a song, it checks it and it flags if it's copyrighted or whatever, and the royalties get the royalties and the revenue basically all the revenue it goes back to the copywriter, to the owner of of the song.
yeah.
So yeah, so I mean, even if I just like this one, created a playlist for it. If it was actually I uploaded it directly on YouTube, and it's just music. Someone can search for it on YouTube Music, and
Yeah.
then they're able to find it and download it from there. So that's one cool thing that I love
Yeah.
about YouTube Music.
I think I have like two other friends who use it. I've never been interested.
Yeah.
Continue, guys. I mean, use, but I'm not doing it.
Oh yeah,
I'm
and
not
one
going
more
to
thing.
lie to you.
Yeah, and one more thing. What I love about YouTube Music is that when you switch on like the radio of an artist or a song, it
Hmm.
actually finds songs very very similar to that song or artist. Unlike Apple Music, For some reason, Apple Music
Spotify does
can,
that too.
yeah, like,
Spotify does that too. It even gives like a name, like Gabza is a small radio, and but it's not
yeah,
just playing Gabza's music. It's playing
yeah,
everything that's similar.
yeah,
Or Big
yeah,
Zulu Radio, it's plays something that's similar. The same radio will have like just a Gabza playlist, and it's just his
yeah,
music. So they're also very versatile. I like that about them because you can literally put your Spotify on shuffle, and it just gives you the best
yeah.
music. Like the entire playlist is just fire.
Yeah, and it's the thing with Apple Music now. Like, let's say I go into AKA and put on like a radio for AKA. They'll end up
Yeah.
hearing Amapiano songs on there, or even if, but it's I found it more. It happens mostly with when I maybe play Lemons to Lemonade, just
Mm-hmm.
that song, and then and I ask for it to play similar songs. I'd end up
Mm-hmm.
hearing Amapiano and all of that. And I don't want to hear that. So it's not really accurate.
I get it. It has that Lemon Lemonade song low key has a piano vibes. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, that's probably why. But I've also seen with other artists, with other music,
Yeah.
even with Pitch Black Afro. Because at some point
Mm-hmm.
there was some songs that I actually love by Pitch Black Afro. Eventually, it will go into house or
Yeah.
Amapiano, and yeah. So that's a bit of a
Nah,
letdown for
Spotify
me.
won't. Dude, if I'm listening to Pitch Black Afro, next thing I hear is single by Tear Gas
Yeah,
or Umshobo. It gives you, honestly, one thing they get right is their shuffle or their
yeah,
playlist
yeah,
that they make for you. Because there's daily playlists as well. Like every day it changes.
yeah,
Top tier. Moves from that to Squadra Camp Slandela to Joseph's Motherland. You're going to listen to that. It's all the music from the same time in the country and the
exactly.
same vibe to it. So they get
Yeah,
it right with that one.
yeah, yeah. So Apple Music actually needs to work on its algorithm
They need to
on
pull
them.
up their socks
Yeah.
because I have load shedding in a few. There's South Africa. My battery is dying. South
Okay.
Africa, there's, oh, let me tell you, I got load shedding earlier while I was on a call with the client. I'm like, oh, and this is a client in the UK, they're not in SA. So I can't even say, no, I have load shedding, not. Because the ones in South
They have
Africa, we
no
laugh
idea.
about it, you know?
Yeah.
You know? The ones in SA, we laugh about it. Like at other time, the client had load shedding, but I was on the line, you know? So
Yeah.
I called it back. It was fine.
I don't think the
But
guys in UK.
international clients, they
Yeah,
don't.
I don't think they have any idea what load shedding is. So yeah, it's because I had it from 5 until 7. So I think I'm gonna have it
Yeah,
until, yeah, like in the early hours of the morning again. But
yeah.
yeah, that's
When
our
I
life
was,
now.
yeah, because when I left for the gym at 6, it just happened because I left around 6:15.
Yeah.
It had just happened at 6 until 8. Then it went again at 2 until 4, and it's going now again at 10 until 12.
Man, this it's the life that we live now.
We are in the trenches, bro. We are in the
Too much.
trenches. As a country, we are deep within the trenches, guys. You know when they say the basement has the basement, we are in the
Yeah.
basement. The one inside the
Yeah.
basement because there's
Yeah,
no
or the
way.
basement's basement.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
there's no way, guys. This can't be normal. This
Yeah.
can't be normal.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah. Oh man. Z, I don't know if you have anything else to share.
No, I mean, I'm just looking forward to Touchline's album.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Jin's album. So
Yeah.
I'm here for the music, guys. Something about me. For
Oh,
music, guys.
and I'm assuming that you haven't had a chance to listen to Lost Diamonds too, P Dot and Black Laser's album.
Correct. I only heard one song. Now, corner somebody was playing it, so I didn't even get the title of the song.
Yeah.
But I haven't listened to it, and I thoroughly enjoyed the first one, guys. The album just stay. Like when I
Yeah.
feel like I'm losing everything, I just jump to keep pushing. The song pushes me, you know.
Yeah.
So Lost Diamonds one was my vibe. I really gonna enjoy this one too. I know it. So it's like if there are people that I enjoy in this country, and they never fail to amaze me, it's those two.
Yeah.
Envy
Yeah.
and Blacklist make good music, guys. They're incredible.
Yeah. And they actually have a concert on the 9th, I think. So it's the same day as as the South African Hip Hop Awards. Let me just check quickly.
Didn't you say the awards on the 6th?
Sorry?
Didn't you say the awards are on the 6th?
Oh, no, I think, let me just confirm, because I think I actually eventually got the, oh yeah, it is on the 6th. Oh yeah, so yeah, the 6th, and P.O's and Black Liz's performances, or event rather, is on the 9th. I think it's also happening in Newtown.
Is it in Newtown? Then I would definitely go, because I was waiting for you to say Pretoria. I'm like, yeah, nah.
So, yeah, but I just want to make
from
sure.
Where I live, guys, from where I live, Pretoria is far.
Yeah, no,
No, guys.
yeah, but I just want to make sure. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be pretty cool, I think. And if possible, I think I may be able to make it down as well, because
Yeah.
I would actually
For
would like
the
to see
yeah,
for
we
P.O.
do.
Yeah, for
For
P.O. and
yeah.
Black Liz, yeah. Yeah, but anyway,
That
that is all
would be
for me.
amazing.
Yeah, because we're almost out of time, and I'm not.
We are.
It will
It's
take a
gonna
while.
cut us off this thing.
Yeah.
Definitely gonna cut us off.
Cut us off. Yeah. So it's going to be a while before I find this. But anyway, Z, thank you very much. Thank you very much for being with me tonight. And you know, it's always a good time with you. But unfortunately, time is not on our side. But yeah, we'll be back again next week.
Bye.
Cheers.